Joining me now is the Daily Express royal reporter Pandora Forsyth and News Corp columnist Angela Mollard. Pandora, we have really seen the Prince and Princess of Wales being really open about these sorts of personal issues or reconnecting with family and nature. Do you think that this fits well with their broader advocacy?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've seen them both individually and both together speaking about it. And I think that's very much a reflection of the monarchy at the moment, more so than ever. We know that the King very much speaks to them, if not daily, weekly. I mean, they'll always be checking in with one another. And I think, especially at times of health and perhaps leaning on loved ones, they use these places to really reconnect with nature and actually kind of find out what life is all about, I suppose. So it doesn't surprise me at all that this is being brought back around again. And of course, this very much helps with the message with all of the programs that they're doing. Obviously, we've got Earthshot coming up later this year. So it always feeds back into that message. And I think this is something also which really goes well with early childhood years, which Katherine is so passionate about and has been. It's very much been her standpoint project since marrying into the royal family. And she's very keen on getting children out in nature and learning about it. So this does not surprise me at all. And can I just say one thing, that they are getting it so right at the moment with their videography and how they're getting the message out there. And it's really appealing to younger audiences across the globe. It's shareable. You see it all over your social media. It fills your feeds. And it's making the monarchy far more relatable, actually, even down to what she's wearing. She isn't sort of just coming across sort of like I suppose, a princess. She's coming across like a human being and doing everyday activities like many people do around the globe.
Angela, I totally agree with Pandora there, particularly around the royal family getting everything really right at the moment. And we know they had a few stumbles last year as far as social media strategy and those sorts of things were concerned. Do you think there's anything particularly interesting in the timing of this video?
Look, I think this is Easter time. Of course, it's a time of year that people think about new life, about celebration. And I think that's Katherine. I imagine that she feels very much that she's escaped a death sentence. And so to be in nature, to be with scouts, which is a very earnest and ancient tradition, really, I think suggests that she's focused on the goodness at the heart of society. We know that she said, that people and their messages were a huge support to her during her cancer battle. I think this also determines the sort of king and queen that they will be in the future, that they will very much anchor themselves in the things that are right for their family. And that's not to say that they will put their family above the crown. The crown will always come first, but they're very determined that being enmeshed and immersed in nature is so significant to their mental and physical health. And that has to come first if they are to be the king and queen in the future.
And Angela, still with you, and who they are in the future as king and queen also goes to the sorts of people they have around them. And a few eyebrows were raised this week, I think, with Jason Knauf being named as Prince William's CEO for the Earthshot Prize. Interesting choice, isn't it?
It's a hugely significant choice, Caroline. I think this is what this is saying, is that we vote for the people who support us rather than our family. So the background to this, of course, is that Jason Knauf was the person that brought bullying allegations against Meghan when she was back with the royal family. Now, he used to be CEO of the Archwell Foundation. He was formerly Harry and William's communications secretary. He is a very trusted member of the family's entourage and the people that work around them. The fact that William has now hired him for this key position is the greatest endorsement yet that he was correct in the bullying. As you'll remember, there was that investigation into the bullying. We were told that the findings were going to be made public, but they never were. But plenty of people who have been employed by the palace said that Meghan did bully her staff. And the fact that Jason Knauf has survived that situation and is now a key member of the Prince and Princess of Wales's team suggests who their allegiance lies with.
I did think that was just fascinating when I read it this week. And Pandora, it is Easter week, and we'll talk about the royal family's Easter later in the show. But can you tell us how the Sussexes celebrated Easter this year?
Yeah, so of course, we now know that Meghan is very much in her lifestyle influencer era. So, any opportunity like this, no matter what influencer you are across the globe, you will be making money off the back of Easter, which goes very differently to what you'd expect from royal family traditions. However, we saw a Shop My Page. Meghan did an Easter edit on there. You get little carrot sweets in there. You can get Easter napkins. I mean, we're really going all out. And actually, given the success of her brand as ever, and that did sell out, and how many people are actually buying these products, then why wouldn't you, to be honest, at this point? It's not harming anybody by doing this at all. So, yeah, she's made it a business opportunity. But we do know that Meghan actually formerly, when she was without Harry in her life, she used to celebrate Easter anyway. Perhaps not so much the religious element of it, but she very much was celebrating it in a very Montecito way. So they'll very much have an Easter egg hunt. They will be doing that with their family. When she was pregnant with Lilibet, they were very open about how they were celebrating Easter. I imagine her mum, Doria, we know they're so close, she'll be there. So it'll be time for family, but it won't be traditional, no. I can't imagine they'll be going to church either. So no, it'll be a very Montecito setup. And I imagine what we will see in the next coming hours is perhaps an Instagram post, very much showing how they are spending their Easter and how they have spent their Easter, because of course that's an opportunity, and she will very much being advised to get all those cute Instagrammable pictures. I don't suspect we'll see their faces, but perhaps a couple of the back of their heads going down for an Easter hunt. I mean, that's just my guess, guys. I'm just going to put it out there. We'll check back next week of whether I'm right about
We will.
Imagine.
Now, Angela, still with the Sussexes, and another charity drama for them, this time the Archwell Foundation. And it's in relation to a decision it made to cease funding to the Milwaukee Muslim Women's Coalition. What happened here?
That's right. They've withdrawn their funding. They've funded this charity in the past, but the head of the charity, he's spoken out in a fairly pro-Palestine, anti-Israel sentiment. This has then, of course, led Harry and Meghan to have to pull back. They say that, that their charity is for all religions, all ethnic groups, and that they very much support, diversity across the board. The fact that this CEO of the charity has spoken out in this way, they led them to believe they needed to pull back. But of course, now the CEO has hit back at the charity and said, that it's PR before the help that they have, before human rights and the things that they've given money to in the past. Look, I think this is indicative of the fact that the Sussexes don't know and don't have good guidance around where to put their money. Look, the Archwell Foundation doesn't have that much money, frankly. They're giving it to all sorts of different groups. But the fact is they always become embroiled in these problems because they don't make sensible decisions in the first place. They need to hire somebody to go through, to look at who they are giving money to see where problems might occur. They never get ahead of the damage limitation. They're always chasing it from behind, which was the case we saw a few weeks ago with Centre Bali. This is just another one of the things they just cannot seem to be able to step away from conflict. It follows them everywhere.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting how these things seem to follow the Sussexes. Now, a gentle viewer warning, our next story discusses the topic of miscarriage. Now, Pandora, I've only got about 45 seconds left, but during her podcast discussion with Resma Rajani this week, Meghan opened up about having a miscarriage. Now, these conversations have traditionally been very hush-hush, but how important is it that women are open about these traumatic experiences, which are actually really quite common?
Incredibly important. 1 in 5 women experience miscarriages at some point in their lifetime, with some women unfortunately experiencing more than that. We do know this information already. Harry has spoken about it. Of course, the partner is affected, not only the woman. So this isn't new information, but of course, I think actually Meghan got this right, bringing it up again. Any awareness surrounding this is remarkable, to be honest, and it needs to be spoken about more often and in the public sphere. So yes, I think it's very important and very brave of actually Meghan to bring this up again. But of course, it's so incredibly personal.
Yeah, completely agree. Thank you very much, Pandora Forsyth and Angela Mollard.